Okay, so I just thought of something else. I was thinking about concentration and what we concentrate on and what we think about. And I was thinking that, when we concentrate on one thing, right? It's like the whole theory of manifestation. We think about it like, we think about whatever it is we're thinking about, and it seems to like manifest to you, right? Like it's manifestation of your own thoughts, and it starts creating in another dimension, and then it like happens to you, right? Well, I was thinking about what we should should, that's rough. What I think is that when you concentrate on one thing, like it creates it or something like that. I mean, even if it already exists, I feel like this is kind of fun to talk about. And I was thinking about, like, I was just talking about the sun, and I'm so concentrated on the sun because I love summer, and I love that everybody always goes outside during the summer, and everybody's so excited when it's when it's warmer out, because then you don't have to like wear so many clothes, you're not all bundled up, you're not like trying to keep warm, and you're not trying to do all that stuff. You're like super excited. Kids are excited. Everybody just feels a little better when it's like warmer outside. And so I was like, I wonder if that's like, a fun ticket, is that, concentrating on warmer weather. It's like we concentrate so much here in Connecticut on seasons, like constant seasons, but like, you see like over in Arizona, and it's like warmer all the time, and it's like I wonder if we just all concentrated on like what's one season that we enjoy. Well, I enjoy the summertime, like the spring/summertime. It's like this very, very comfortable temperature that everyone enjoys. Well, I mean, okay, I can only speak for myself. I enjoy it a lot. And I'm like, if we were to concentrate on that, concentrate on the sun, concentrate on a warmer situation, it's like the reason for the season. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to think of this. I had this sentence that I had. Like the reason for the season. Like Jesus is the reason for the season. And I always think of the sun, and the sun is my heart, and it's what I love. And I'm like, the reason for the season. The reason for your thoughts. Like the thoughts and the concentration. Loving something so much that you literally created or something like that. It's what I always think about. Especially like when I think about my mom. I always think about like, we're always talking to each other, and I have a few videos back about like how we're constantly talking to each other from different dimensions, and it's like I'm concentrating on it so hard that I know it's going to manifest. I know it's going to manifest in this reality, and so I'm thinking about like warmer weather, and I'm like, we think here in Connecticut that it's got to be like wintertime or it's got to snow, and I'm like, you know what? That's too much concentration on colder weather. Why not concentrate on warmer weather? You know what I mean? Like maybe that's the ticket, is to like stop doing the same cycle, the same like roundabout, and say, well, you know what? I like warmer weather, and I want to concentrate on warmer weather. I want to concentrate on the sun, because that's what I like the most. I really, really, really like this warm temperature where you can just go outside. You're not worried about clothing records. You're not worried about, it just makes you feel a lot more comfortable. Yeah, so, I guess like switching your concentration, switching your thoughts, concentrating on something that you love the most. Think about what you love the most, something that makes you feel really, really good, instead of something that makes you feel really, really uncomfortable. Focus on what you love the most, and you literally manifest that to you. I mean, this has been like, talked about. I mean, this isn't new knowledge, So I'm like, well, I'm like telling myself, think bigger. Think bigger. What do you really, really want? And I keep talking about weather, geological locations, what I see in the sky and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, the sun. I'm clearly concentrated on the sun right now because I just made a video about it. I'm like, yeah, warmer weather. Like I literally, it's almost like I'm living. I have to plug this in. I'm living like I want the warmer weather. So it's like I'm sweating, I'm hydrating, I'm doing all of these things. Like I'm working out, and I'm like, literally, the way I feel is like I'm creating warmer weather within my body because I'm sweating. Like I'm sweating as if it's warmer weather inside my body. So when I think about concentration and creating my own reality, and even though I know I'm in Connecticut and usually it's colder during the wintertime, I'm like, you know what? How about be unusual? How about we be unusual in our thoughts and our thought patterns and what we really love, love, expressing our positivity, our positively charged ion. expressing that and thinking about it all the time and going outside and the trees bless us and we bless the trees and by expressing what we love the most, I think that's what makes it come to fruition. And I always think about why I'm concentrating on one thing at a certain time. And then I'm like, well, of course I'm concentrating on the sun because it's wintertime here. And I'm like, I just want it to be warmer. I want it to be warmer. Why do I have to think that it has to be colder? What if I want, love, see, know, believe that it can be anything that you want it to be? It's like the positivity and the love that you have for it that actually creates this excessive drive, right? This excessive drive in the centerpiece of my heart because I love it so much. And then I think like the sun being a conduit of that information and it takes it in and it's like, yeah, and it's like your heart gets bigger and bigger and the sun gets warmer and it distributes everything. I always picture this world where the temperature is totally comfortable all the time. And it's really warm, and you're not you're not excessive heat like Arizona used to be. It was 122. You couldn't be outside for more than 20 minutes, and you got problems in your body and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm always focusing on energy distribution. I'm always focusing on, you can already see it happening in the world, and I'm like, well, what would energy distribution at its complete stage look like? And I picture being comfortable all the time. That's what I picture. So why wouldn't I believe that that's possible? If everything's always balancing all the time, of course my heart wants the sun. Of course my heart wants warmer weather. I'm not saying you can't like being freezing, but I'm saying what I really like is warmer weather, because then you just go outside and you feel comfortable and you're not worried about freezing and putting on a million layers, and it's I just want to go. It's the skate park's 7.9 miles away, and I love biking and stuff. I absolutely love biking. I love skateboarding. But it's the other day I went out and I feel like I exhausted so many resources because it's colder out and I had to bundle up. So then I end up sweating a lot because you end up, heating up, but I can only shove so many things in my backpack. And I'm like, but a perfect weather, and in perfect weather, it's in perfect weather, you just wouldn't exhaust so many resources. So in that moment, you could really do whatever you wanted because you wouldn't exhaust so many resources. Everything would feel more enjoyable and be more enjoyable when you weren't constantly trying to fight off colder weather or too warm of weather, this even distribution where everything is enjoyable and everything feels good. So you can do the things that you really, really enjoy. And when I think about that, I'm like, okay, so the kids would probably be super duper happy. And everyone would probably still be super duper happy. But then I'm like, well, what would bring people outside all the time? And then I think about people that are working all the time. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a drag. So then I'm like, well, what would make everybody happy? And what I think is that the weather would be perfect. And then everything will be revealed. And in that moment, you wouldn't have to work. Because all the truth and everybody in anybody's timeline, anybody that you thought passed away was really just in another location, somewhere else, in this screen that we see, in this, when you look up in the sky and you see just blue, or you see clouds, or you see, really concentrated clouds, or a storm, or you see snow, or you see whatever it is that you're seeing in your location. And I'm like, I think a perfect moment would be that right there. It would be evenly distributed weather, and everything is revealed. And in that moment, you're like, well, I guess there's no need to work anymore because the sun gives us everything that we need. And it's you wouldn't even have to use heat. You wouldn't have to use AC. You wouldn't have to use, honestly, I don't even think you have to use any energy at all. That would be a perfect solution to free energy, is that energy distribution, sun distribution, being a perfect temperature. And then having everything revealed, and everybody from the past and relatives that you loved and them being separated from you, but having it revealed that they're really they're on the other side of they're somewhere on the timeline, but really it's just like this perception that they're gone, but they're actually there. But I think the whole revelation, the whole revealing of everything being there at the same time is being able to look beyond the clouds, beyond the sea of glass, and seeing that on the other side of all of that is actually everybody that has ever lived, ever. That's what I think. I think that would make everybody really, really happy. Like, I try to think of a perfect world, a perfect situation, a way where everyone is really happy all the time, like perfect disillusion. It would be perfect in that moment, because in that moment, everyone would see anybody from the past that they ever wanted to talk to, and those people from the past would be able to tell you their own story, so we don't have to worry about reading it in the books. We don't have to worry about, was it true? Did they write enough? Was the hieroglyphs everything, or was there something more to that? And people that have passed on that were like friends and family members, we hold on to that emotion. We're like, why aren't they there? So I think being able to see those people in whatever dimension that they are, but still being like, it's probably right in front of our eyeballs, we just can't see it yet. And it's like, I think that would be perfect disillusion, is that those people are there. Those people are totally there all the time. And I think that would make people extremely happy. Like, when I think about less stress, and I think about minimizing or stopping stress altogether, is perfect weather, and revealing that all these dimensions of people seemingly passing away, they're actually just in another location somewhere else in time. That's what I really, really believe. Because there has to be a balance, and there has to be a perfect situation, a perfect world, because science shows us that it all balances out. And it's a closed system. It's a closed system. Whatever goes out is never lost, because energy is never destroyed. It simply transforms, okay? It's always there. Whether you eat something and you throw the paper away, it dissolves, or they make it into something else. Like, no matter what, it's always there. It never leaves the system. It never leaves the system. So it only makes perfect sense that these people never actually leave the system. It just appears that they leave this dimension. And so when I think of like total culmination event, total revealing of everything, complete and total revelation, that's what I picture, because that not only makes sense to my heart and what I feel and what I believe, but it also makes perfect science that nothing would ever leave the system. It still exists. It always exists. Just like Kirlian photography, And I talked about it in another video, but it's like they got this leaf, and they take a picture of it, and it shows like the biomagnetic feedback of like the colors that leaf is, just like thermal energy in a human body that some animals can actually see with their eyeballs. What they did is they took a picture of the leaf as it is, and you could see like the thermal energy within it, and then the guy cut a piece of the leaf off, and then took another picture of it, and it showed that the energy was still there. The biofeedback was still there on that piece. So that absolutely proves that no matter what is chopped down, no matter what is seemingly removed from the system, it's simply not, because science proves that. So I'm totally positive that that's the truth, because we can see it. We can see it when we use certain devices that can show us. And not only do the devices show us, and even if we think for 1 second that couldn't be the truth, there are animals that can see this. Animals can see thermal energy. Wow, I'm all jazzed up. So just to reiterate, when I think of a perfect system and a perfect world and a perfect disillusion of what we think or perceive, I think about what would be revealed and what feels the best and the most positive to my heart, and that would be it. Is everybody is revealed, and the weather would be perfect. And in that moment, time would stop, everything would stop, and everybody would be so happy that all the confusion would be lost. Maybe there'd be I know there'd be a lot of questions, but it'd be like, in that moment, you would just stop. You would just stop, and you would look outside. Even if you were in your house, there'd be so many people outside that there's no way that you would not go outside and check it out. It would be undeniable proof at the same time to make everybody happy and not sorrowful or hurt or fear anything, because the truth would be revealed. Okay, that's all I have to share for now. Thanks for watching.